alleyway from my Carolina home. Had dreams about the West and started to roam. 6 long months on a dust-covered trail. They say heaven's at the end, but so far it's been hell. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. We were digging and shifting 5 to 5, selling everything we found just to stay alive. Gold flowed free like the whiskey in the bar. Sinning was the big thing, Lord, and Satan was a star. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And blood lined the streets. Men were shot down for the sake of having fun, or just to hear the noise of their 44 guns. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Now my widow, she weeps by my grave. Tears flow free for her man couldn't save. Shot down in cold blood by a gun that carried fame, all for the useless and no good, worthless claim. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. And there's fire on the mountain, lightning in the air, gold in them hills, and it's waiting for me there. Waiting for me there.
Hey, YouTubers and friends, how are all of you doing out there? Totally awesome, I hope. Well, tonight we have Justin Sully with us from uh, Coin Rings by Sully. Um, from what I understand, he lives right down the road from me. But I've always liked the art of turning coins into jewelry and his work. There's the link pinned to the chat and down in the description for $10 off of any purchase of $30 or more. Um, just use coupon code or promo code flash in your pan, capital letters. Show them a little love, buy some of that silver, some nice artwork over there. But let's get to the show on the road. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, YouTubers and friends, thanks for joining us for another episode of Tuesday Night Hangout Live with Toledo Jess, Dano, the Treasure Vixen, and I. Sister Rose and brother of another mother, Dano, how are you two doing tonight?
It's wonderful when you're sitting in an air-conditioned home.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm enjoying the air conditioning as well. The AC in my car went out today.
Ooh, that ain't good. Judy's going through that with her car. She'll probably have to use the good truck to take the kids back and forth to their baseball games or whatever. I can't believe the kids are doing any games in this heat.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you guys getting the same heat we're getting?
It was 105 today, from what my truck said, and we have 94 on my computer right now. Today wasn't so bad, sis. I was inside putting together a steel stairway in a factory. Wasn't bad. Yesterday, it felt like 120 on the steel. I was up on the roof, and I came home beat. I was gonna do a giveaway for Flash Bash 2022 attendees. No need to be there to win. I have the silver piece donated. It was given to me and I put it somewhere safe, Rose, Dano. and I had this 1 ounce silver, looks like a coffin there, but an arrowhead on the other side. It was donated by Guido.
Aww.
And I had it somewhere safe and I forgot about it. You know, squirrel head, blonde moments. And
So what you're saying is you left it in editing.
kind of, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then, you know, Luke Duke, he was gonna bring one of his sluices to give as a donation, and he sent me a picture of it and everything, but you know, I didn't have it in hand, so I forgot about that too. So I was gonna do a double. That one's kind of a surprise because my thumbnail shows the silver,
Yep.
but everyone who was at Flash Bash is on the wheel, and someone's gonna get a really nice sluice and a really nice silver piece, compliments of Guido. Uh,
So
out in Wyoming, Council Bluffs, Iowa, Doug and Cat Toy Lady having 103 degrees.
she's not too far from us. She's in the Kansas City side of Missouri, or the Missouri side of Kansas City. And yeah, we had real feels of 107 yesterday. I don't think we actually broke 100 though. I think it stayed at 99. Same thing today with the real feel of 105.
It was hot today every time I went outside. Ugh.
You know what, guys? I had a friend once tell me, and I love this. You know, I think, how do you get the job of the guy who decides what the real feel is? Because I want that job. I want to do that. How do you know, what does he do? And does he go outside and goes, nope, that's definitely hotter than what it feels like. It really feels like 115.
Maybe. Who knows?
I want that job.
Who knows? They're all liars. You know, they should be politicians. I swear, the weathermen.
Oh my gosh. I think we can't blame the weatherman. It's not an exact science. It's a guessing science.
True. They put a bunch of data into different models and the computer says the outground. The herd of children going up my steps, that's my grandchildren. I'm sure you heard it. If not, oh well. Just covering my bases. Weather guessers, that's right, Wally. And look at this crowd tonight. We have all kinds of awesome people from the land down under, from coast to coast America, and our brothers above the border, maybe even below the border. Hi, David Villa, Tin Man, Wally, Deej,
Mr. Lodak, the
David
world's
and
best
David.
moderator.
Uncle Beep, hello. Otis Ferris, great seeing you at Flash Bash. Music Man Mark Miller, great performance of Flash Bash at Flash Bash. JP Lawns and more, charts. Bacchus. And as always, Tin Man was here lurking an hour before, hanging out with our friend from down under, Bob Welch. Or Brad Welch. Sorry, Brad.
He said, if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah. One of these days, I'll have to give a booby prize for that. Dan, how are you? Adventures with Dan. Someone help me. I'm butchering the poor guy's name.
I know that JP was calling for charts just a little bit earlier. JP Lawns and more. What's up, JP? Charts.
Rocky Mountain Live Prospecting. How are you doing, Robbie? Robert?
Oh, Luke Duke. Luke Duke. I'm happy to see you. I'm so bummed I missed you at Flash Bash, man.
Yeah, same here, Luke.
I brought something specifically for you. I was hoping for a trade. We'll have to meet up another time.
Candace, I hope your trip's doing good. Say hi to the Nug for us. Headed to the creek. Good to see you. Can Do veteran. Great meeting you at Flash Bash. PA Patriot Prospecting. Hello. Gary Curry's in the house. All these good people, awesome people. Org, how you doing? You're supposed to say Mr. Ed, Michael, and I say Wilbur.
That's a little bit easier than you're on for the hills.
Yeah. Ringo. Good to see you, Ringo. M.A. Lyman, good to see you, Mike. Mr. Friday, how you doing? JC Hayes, FLX Detectorist, good evening. Jeff Brewer's Prospecting, how are you doing? Along with Looter 8, Treasure Hunter. I think I'm going to play in Jennings Creek at my own little private Idaho this weekend, Dano. I'm going to do some detecting underneath down by, you know, the fjord where we tested a bunch of stuff.
Yep. Yep.
There's a house from the 1800s that used to sit up on the ridge. And Jesse found a wagon wheel, and I found some bottles in the creek upstream.
Oh, super cool.
So I'm gonna take my knocks out, and I'm gonna detect and walk around in the creek and detect. Don't think I'll drag my dredge down to the quarry hole there, but and I don't think Phil has the front part by the Rhodey farm planted yet, and there was an old schoolhouse there I might hit. And it's not supposed to be like 110 in the shade here in the Midwest. It's supposed to break by then. You detect, don't you, Justin?
Yes, I do.
I thought so. That's why I asked if you had a YouTube channel too, because I've known for years you've done jewelry and stuff.
Yep, it actually got started by metal detecting, so it takes up more time than I wish, but I'll get back out there and swing again here, so hopefully soon.
Funny how one thing can, one little hobby can morph into what it for you has become a business,
Right.
So crazy.
Yeah, definitely. How long have you been detecting?
Off and on since 2013.
Okay. So,
What got you into it? What got you started?
So my grandfather bought me a metal detector when I was about 12, 13 as an old White's machine. Played with it, liked it. Nobody else around me did it, got bored with it, and got rid of it. And then me and my grandfather were talking again about doing some metal detecting, and one of my neighbors, and he ended up getting me an AT or Ace 250, and I started hitting it hard and finding everything, and then started in the groups and meeting friends and working up the ranks. And I've had the cheapest machines, I've had the most expensive machines, and it just kind of keeps going back and forth.
what are
And it's
you
just
swinging now?
I got a Knox 600
Oh, okay.
and a couple Garrett's.
Yeah, Dano and I swing the Knox 800. What do you swing, Rose?
Bounty hunter. Woo!
Hey, I have a friend, Susie Weiss. She's swung a bounty hunter for years.
You know what? And it gives us the signals and we still dig everything anyway. So I feel like it's a great learning tool, which is exactly what I'm doing is learning.
Well,
So
if you want the rusty, crusty relics, you want to pretty much dig everything.
mhm.
And with us doing it in the creek, looking for those little Ohio or Indiana pickers or whatever, we dig any signal.
Lead's mostly what you find.
Lead and barbed wire.
Now we did the Vixens, they did invest with Vixen money in a Garrett carrot. And I do feel like that was a game changer for us and our detecting. That really allowed us to hone in on things, even if they're small things, it made it much easier to hunt with. So I would not metal detect without a Garrett carrot.
Oh, pinpointers.
Yeah.
A way to go. Back in the old days, they used a probe.
Right. And I think it was JP Moore and Can Do Veteran who did a pretty neat test with a Garrett carrot and then a mock-up, looks like a Garrett carrot, where I think he Can Do Veteran ran it up and down his arm to find the metal in his arm.
Yeah.
And there was a big difference between the two. It did find it, but JP said a GP pointer. It was the Garrett carrot was almost going off before he got to his arm, and then he had to search his arm with the knockoff.
Well, with electronics, it's like a lot of other things. You get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
But
My mind like a pinpointer will pick up the staples in my knee.
Yours will or won't?
It will. My mind, like, because you can turn it up and down. You can set the sensitivity from like 1 to 5 on it. It'll pick up the staples and screws in my knee.
So silly to do something like that, but fun. It's cool to see that you know the metal's there.
Yeah. And usually like that stainless steel, it don't pick up so good in your body, I've been told. And if it's on 1, it won't. It's got to be on 5 and then it'll pick it up. I can go to the spot where there's one at and it'll beep on it.
If anyone's suffering any buffering, I don't know why it is. On both my YouTube and my encoder, it says I have an excellent signal.
Mine's fine and says live on mine.
But it's funny, on mine I see the wheels spinning here and there. That's why it said so.
Well, Digging with Deej actually made a comment about your volume a few chats up.
My volume?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go into. I had to do this last time. Why can't Zoom just be good? Turn too loud or too low?
It was too low. You need to turn it up, Deej said, I believe.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, low volume on the edge, it says only.
Huh. Wow. Test. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Test. I have it to the hilt. So let me try and bring this up a little higher here. Last time I did it, I went flying in the red. Hey Tom, how you doing? It's very low. Well, technology. See how it is, everybody. Technology. The more you want to do, the more it just kind of beeps with you. Let's see if this mic does any different. Hello? Oh yeah, now it's like spike way up. Turn it down, please, turn it down. Any better? I couldn't hear last stream. Was here too.
You can hear everyone but you, Ed's what he's saying, LNW show.
Okay.
Deej said that was a little bit older. Deej says it's good now.
And David Villa says screaming now, much louder. That's better. All right. I switched camera mics.
I didn't get all them stickers. I got shortchanged by Thomas.
Hey, Pennyweight.
So you gotta go around and trade them. Like I said, the currency. You need a sticker for a sticker.
Stickers. What's wrong with you? I got a mere 400 subs after 7 years. I'm growing.
Oh, it took me longer than that to get to my 1,000, Dano.
But I'm not in it for that. If you watch what it is, fine. If you don't, fine. I'm good with all that.
Everybody in the room right now, head over to Dano's channel. Mr. Lodak, put a link out, please. Dano's channel. Subscribe. Yeah. We already know our sister here's pushing 10 grand.
Get close. Get close.
Did gain a new sub.
Way to go.
Oh, hi, Relic Hunter. Howdy.
How are you doing, Bill?
Yep, and Lucky Ducky Thomas.
Cajun Rockhound joined me today at my channel.
Cool.
Will Bond, Cajun Rockhound.
Nice.
Well, you know, I'm a nobody, so he probably just happened to catch a video of me. He's like, oh, I wonder who this dude is.
Oh, you're not a nobody. Shut up.
I know. I don't feel like you're a nobody either, Dano.
I'm a YouTube nobody. And I'm good with that.
You know, your first 100 is the hardest. Then your 500. Then your 1,000.
It seemed like I jumped to 250 directly. Then after that, it's just like, couple here, another one there.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know why Justin hasn't made his workload harder and start a YouTube channel, too. Because those channels do pretty good, Justin.
Oh, I know. I do pretty good as without it. I got 3 kids, baseball every night of the week. So
Oh,
with that work schedule, it's already taken up at least one full day of my weekend every week. So I try to keep it subtle, but enough to still do it and have fun with it.
so you being from the same neck of the woods I am, did you live in town like Delphus or Elida or Lima and move
I've
out
lived
to
in,
the country?
no, I started growing up in Lima. Then we moved to Delphus. Graduated from there in 2005. And then 2008, got married, moved to Columbus for 10 years. And then recently came back up here.
Right on. Did you live out in the country or in town?
No, I lived over off 2nd Street.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
what actually got my addiction to metal detecting. I found more with the Ace 250 than I found with any other machine. And that's just because you dig every sound.
Right.
And I actually got pieces in the museum in Delphus from parts or pieces I found in my parents' yard.
Oh, cool, cool. Right on.
Oh, we're gonna get you start off here. Justin, were you present on Ohio Relic Hunters' permission when a mutual friend found a gold coin?
Yeah, it was about 5 foot in front of me. I was working the path around the corner, and she came up from the stairs and turned and started screaming and shaking, and went over and seen what it was. And it kind of happens with a better person. I'm glad she found it. It was a surreal moment. Caught us all off guard. And
Oh, who found that?
And what was it?
I think it was a $5. It was a 5 or a 10 bill. I don't remember. Gold Indian.
Ooh,
In
nice.
absolute pristine condition. I mean, the condition alone was making her shake. It was Sam Creedy now. I don't remember what her last name was before.
Sam Creedy.
She actually got together with one of my other metal detecting buddies from the Columbus area.
She
Sam Waters. That's what it was.
She's been on our show.
Yes, 1837 $5 Gold Indian.
Nice.
I still got the video on my phone of her finding it, and I send it to her once in a while.
Now you hook up with Bill through a group, because he's way southeast. He's Zanesville, and we're way up here in the flatland.
No, when I lived in Columbus, I met up with
well, yeah, you're a
him.
lot closer to him down there, yeah.
Yep. We actually were down there for an event down in his neck of the woods, and we all got kind of bored on it, and he said, hey, I got a spot. You guys want to go take a look at it? We're like, sure. Jumped in the car and took off, and history was made.
Sweet.
That's all it takes, you guys. That's all it takes is, hey, you guys want to go do some detecting? And then before you know it, you're finding gold treasure.
Finding gold in the river with the pan's one thing, but gold's gold.
Right. I wish he would have found it. It was his permission, but he's a great guy.
Tom Randomness.
This is bingo. What's going on, Tom?
I don't know. So what led to the jewelry making?
A couple of the groups I was in, Tim Master Fisher posted a ring he had made to honor his dad, and I wanted to get one for my grandfather from the year he was born, so I contacted Ray Camp out of Alabama and worked it out, and I bought it for him for Christmas, and we got to looking at it. My grandpa was like, you can make these, and I was like, yeah, I'm sure I can figure it out, and boom, it took off. I started literally hammering with a nylon hammer and a ring mandrel, sitting there for hours just beating on the coin until it took shape. To now I do it fairly quick.
Yeah, what has it turned into? Like, have you bought yourself more equipment, or you?
Yeah, I got a couple presses, couple drill presses, ring mandrels. I've got a Durston ring sizer, but that's what's crazy is a lot of it has turned into coin cutting instead of rings. That's what's actually taken off because it's more personable. But that actually, I just started by cutting arrowheads back in about 2016. Sold a couple of them, and then they just fell flat. And I said, you know what, I want to get into this again. I wasn't making many sales, and started playing around with it, and people started liking it, and so like, hey, do a metal detector coil. So I tried a couple of them, and then it exploded from there. And then once I actually made, this is the first $50 coils I've made. Everything else is out of a quarter. I actually made them and sent them to the Hoover boys, and took them 4 or 5 months before they finally opened the package, and happened to open them on a video that Brad found a 1600 gold coin. And I went from maybe 1 or 2 orders a month to that day alone I had 37 orders, and that's just never stopped since then.
Crazy.
Nice.
Do you do all online sales, or do you have a shop, or?
No, everything's online.
Gotcha.
I ship worldwide. I've shipped to probably the majority of the countries around the world.
Do people have the option to send you their coins to have?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
For pendants, yes. For rings, the only stipulation is it's not one that you dug.
Why is that?
Yeah, why? Yeah, why?
If you get into the metallurgy, the soil, depending on where it's at, what else is in the soil, has a major impact on the coin. And I've actually broken a lot where you start to fold it over and it starts flaking up because you don't know what minerals are in the ground, reacting with the silver content, copper content, whatever's in it. Okay. So I've had a few, like their first silver $50 split in half on me immediately. I mean, I can't replace that. So I just said it that I won't do it unless you're absolutely adamant it has to be that coin and you understand that it can break and there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Right. That makes sense.
Well, do you have any examples of your work to show us?
Andy? I would you guys consider that treasure porn? You know?
Yeah.
Most certainly.
I would say yes.
I would too, but you know.
I got a couple rings, but unfortunately I don't make any jewelry for myself because every time I do, somebody buys it. So right now I make everything to order, but I can run and grab a couple of rings real quick and try to see if the camera will pick them up so you guys can see the rings I make.
I think the chat.
You have any pendants handy either?
Let me take a look. I'll be right back. 1 second.
Okay.
Now you're gonna, if he has it, you'll see his product firsthand, and you know there's a link up in the chat, pinned to the top of the chat, and down in the description, and use Flash in Your Pan for your $10 off of any order of 30 or more. And you know, I'm not getting a piece of this pie or nothing. It's not an affiliate link or code. It's just a promotion now to Sunday. So could make him a little busier. Yeah,
Yeah, 10 off of 30 is a great deal, you guys.
30 or more.
Yeah, 30 or more. That's a really fantastic deal.
Is Shane in here too? I see Bill. I don't see Shane.
I did not see him either.
I know some people mix the two up. Must be that Ohio R, you know.
There's Art. Run a little late, but he's here.
Do you think you have a latecomer here?
Oh, well, we'll only dock your pay a little bit, Ronald. Glad you're safe back from your trip to New York, and you didn't get abducted and probed, so.
Hope you wore tinfoil on your head the whole time so they couldn't scan you.
Ohio Relic Hunter said, I'm wearing a coin from Sully now. The jerk buried it in front of me and made me dig it.
Funny. That's funny. When are we gonna go detecting, Bill? I know I have to get down to your neck of the woods, huh? When gas prices go down. Oh, he's back with some treasure porn. But while you're here and just got your earplugs in, a mutual friend of ours is like, I'm wearing a coin ring from Sully now. The jerk buried it in front of me and made me dig it.
Yeah. That was fun. Yeah. That was at that event we did. I've always respected Bill. He's always been in all the groups and always supported me. Every radio show I've been on, he's always been right there talking to me. And I knew he always wanted a ring. We've talked about it in the past, so I made it. We were doing a seated hunt and told him I thought I found one of the $50 and asked if he'd scan it with his machine and see what it was. He was like, yeah, that's what it sounds like. I was like, dig it up. And he dug it up and I already had it made to his size and everything. It was pretty cool.
Right on, right on. Nice surprise, huh, Bill?
He said it was in a small cloth bag. I thought it was a tampon at first.
See, what's funny is he seeded all of that for that event, so I figured he would have known that was there, or if he put something out in the middle of the yard or not. But
well, I don't know. I've held Patrick O'Masters and Sue Weiss seed hunts for the Buckeye chapter over in Butler, Man's Belleville area, and shoot, afterwards I couldn't tell you where I placed everything.
Yeah.
Had a slice and throw in something and move on. Reminds me of planting cedars and stuff out west.
Yep, I got to do some digging with them because they were actually at the event as well. It was a fun time.
Yeah, I've heard all three of them talk about that hunt with Samantha before, and we even talked about it when she was on our show. Her and her husband. If I remember, Dano, that was before their wedding, wasn't it?
Who's that?
Sam and Evan.
Yeah. Oh, what was her maiden name? Waters. Sam Waters. Samantha
Evan
Waters.
Creedy.
I think it was before their wedding. Were you with us yet, Rose?
I don't think so. Or if I was, it might not have been a show I was at.
Bill
So-
says it was before Sam even met Evan.
Okay.
It's funny because I made their wedding rings.
Oh.
Cool, cool.
So, do you melt down gold at all? Do you do any gold work?
Out of coins.
Out of coins. Gotcha.
Yep. I don't forge anything, smelt, none of that. I don't have time for that.
Oh, so I was gonna say, is it anything you'd be interested in doing? But I guess.
I mean, in the future, like I said, with my work schedule and the way my kids are starving for my attention, I want it to get big enough to where I could do it full time, but then again, I don't want it to get that big because it's going to be hard to stay home and work when I have kids that are all homeschooled wanting to be with dad all the time.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't have a lot to show you guys, but I do have some of the cooler ones. I'm actually going to start off with one of the ones that isn't a coin.
Okay.
It's actually a spoon ring I made for my wife. I found the spoon. I thought it was really pretty. Went ahead and made the ring. I posted it and had people start panicking because the spoon is part of about $11,000 set. I didn't know that. And so it did turn into a beautiful ring.
Oh, it is
Ooh,
gorgeous.
Nice.
I got really bad lighting.
Oh, the
it's
camera's
showing
picking it up well.
good.
Yeah.
But the cool part about that is the spoon bowl is what tipped it off for me.
Ooh.
Wow.
So I actually made that into a necklace for my wife to go with the spoon ring.
That's beautiful.
Couldn't imagine eating with that back in the day.
Right.
But that was
Robert
fun.
Ferguson, good seeing you. Thanks for the super chat.
This here was one of my first rings I made that I've never gotten rid of because it's one of my favorite designs. It is an 1892 Columbian Exposition $50. Trying to get that glare off the window. But I've had this ring the longest out of all of them. I've had this one for probably about 6 years now.
Wow.
And it's just one I won't get rid of. Let me fix this lighting.
Oh, you're definitely getting some love from the chat room. I think they like it.
Oh, yes. Let's see if that shows up any better. So I'm watching myself on YouTube too to see how it looks.
Push it forward. A little more.
Yeah, 1892. Yeah, you can see it.
Nice.
Columbian Exposition World's Fair.
Really nice.
It's so crazy that you can keep some of the letters on it. That's insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this will be a better example to show you. So I'm really big on, I was born in 1987. And as everybody knows, No Silver was made in 87. So my favorite is the 1887 Morgan dollar.
Oh.
So I actually had, flip it over. Actually got this one powder coated so it'll last longer.
Wow.
But once you start mixing the colors in and then clear coated, it just turns out awesome.
Nice. The
And then still got the
Morgan's-
reed.
Morgan dollar is such a beautiful dollar.
Yeah, that
It
certainly
is.
is beautiful. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, still good and thick too, like the.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the hardest part. I get a lot of questions on why this side is thicker than
Right.
this side.
You're blowing it out more or less.
Well, you got to think the reed is always thickest part of the coin.
Right.
So when I have that on this end, I try to make this side match so that way the coin sits level and it's not, tapered or cone shaped.
Hmm.
So when you put it on, yes, this side is actually the size I will size it with. This side will be bigger, just so that way it looks correct. If not, you got to take off so much silver that it's not, you get damaging into the letters, and
Yeah.
that's not fun. I do a little bit with clad, not a lot, but I really like the Australian coins because they have the octagon shape. So once you make it into a ring, it gives it a nice little beveled edge.
Oh yeah, sure does.
So those are fun. I actually make these and give them away to my kids' friends when they come over.
Oh,
And
that
then
must
one
make
of
you
the-
pretty cool then. I bet your kids like that.
Oh, they all love it.
Yeah.
My son actually, I was going to bring some of his out, but my 12-year-old actually does some certain pendants as well.
Oh, cool.
And then here's one of the more intricate cuts.
Oh, Frisbee golf. That's
Yep.
sweet.
So that one there, that was a pain to do. To try
So
to
was-
especially do the chains.
Yeah, was that a silver round? A designed silver round?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just a silver $50 that I got the design out of.
I seen a guy at a festival had a booth set up doing stuff like that one time. That was neat as heck to sit there and watch him do that.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
done a couple videos.
Do you wear
and-
glasses that magnify it like 100 times so you can cut it?
No. If I'm doing extremely intricate cuts, I'll put my regular glasses on.
Oh yeah.
It just helps me focus on them better.
Well, I bet you wore them on that one. Those chains must have been, oh my God. Some detailed work there, Justin.
Yep, one of the hardest ones I did, which I don't have posted. Let's see if I can flip it from my phone and show you. Was it's a Marine Corps design. Now let's see how this shows up.
That's perfect
yeah.
right there.
Perfect.
Very nice. Very
So that-
nice.
That piece there took me 3.5 hours to cut.
And yeah, they're all hand cut, right?
Yes, yeah, everything's hand cut. I don't use anything other than a drill to drill the holes for me. I go through quite a few drill bits, quite a few saw blades, But that particular coin there, I think I had around 70 or so holes I had to put into that to be able to cut that design out.
Wow.
Because around every single letter, around every little bits and pieces, you got to keep moving around and cut. It's tedious. Some of them are fun. They're a fun challenge. Other ones are not so much fun. But a lot of them, I won't post I won't put them on a website just because I don't feel right charging the amount of money I'd have to charge to do those as opposed to something else. So I do custom orders, custom requests, and I work with people on the pricing on them. But it's one of those things that I really enjoy to do it. So it's really hard to tell somebody else how much money they need to pay me to do it.
Right.
Right.
Gotta toughen up, sir.
I know.
Gotta earn your keep.
Time's money, and your time's valuable.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, when I look at it and, say if I'm doing the arrowheads and I can do 10 of them an hour and, that's good profit. That's, help put gas in my car, especially in today's economy.
Yeah.
And then I get one piece like that, to charge what I could make doing the other stuff. It's tough, but we keep going with it. Like I've made some motorcycles out of silver coins. I actually made rings out of them, made the wheels, custom hand bent the frame, everything. And if you priced everything out, it'd been about $700 for all the rings that I made to do it. But then I sold it for $350 and was told that was too high. So it's a give and a take. I mean, you got to look at it as art, and you also have to look into the amount of silver you have in it.
Right.
And I mean, I know you're saying art. Yeah, thanks, JP. I had the same conversation with JP. I know you're calling it art, but it's really your labor. And I would also say it's more of a trade than it is an art. And that puts values on things. And I hope you're able to put that value on yourself.
I do. One thing I haven't done is raise prices. So I look at it as, even though inflation's going up, everybody's paying for more stuff. I'm not going to be that guy that jumps on the trend. So I keep all my prices the same. The one thing I did have to do was not provide free shipping. That was starting to eat up to where it was costing me about $5,000 a year.
Wow.
In shipping. And everybody's like, well, you're still making that. I'm like, but that's $5,000 lost. That, it's not how you can run a business.
Right.
So trying to transfer from hobby to business has been the biggest issue, because I want to keep it a hobby, but Etsy says I'm a business because I made too much money in sales. But then when you factor it all down, I really don't make that much money. Silver's not cheap.
No.
Yeah, it's not getting cheaper anytime soon.
No. So I'm the only guy that does not want silver to increase in value. Just saying.
So do you have any projects you're hoping somebody will ask you to do? Anything you've been wanting to do?
Please don't ask me to solder. I'm not good at the silver solder yet. I can do enough to get by. But no, I mean, just any designs really. Like I said, that Marine Corps one, that was actually taken from a 2x2 steel plate that hangs on the wall, and I converted it down to an 1.2 inches and cut it out by hand. So I won't say anything's impossible, but you have to think that everything has to stay connected in some way. So that way I'm able to actually make it and not fall into a puzzle piece.
Do you get any, and you don't have to share this if you don't want to, being a businessman, but do you get any unrealistic requests or people getting a little kooky with their orders?
I won't say unrealistic. I did have one lady reach out to me about a month ago now. Like everybody, I'm sure by now has seen the bat quarter, the 2020 quarter with the bat on the back of it. I cut off the background, I sell it. It's a quick one that was get my kids to do with me and have fun. And she said that she can't find them and she absolutely loves them, and called me and told me that she wants to buy 1,000 of them. And that's a big task.
Yeah.
I mean, just the amount of labor involved with it, it'd be great to do that many. I ain't got the time for that. And then to take time off work to do it. But nothing really has been unrealistic. I've had, hey, I've seen this picture. Can you copy it? Maybe. Well, what do you mean maybe? It's like, you got to take a picture, colorize, turn it to black and white, see where the lines are, see what you're going to cut out and not. Most everybody's good with how I do things. They understand the process, and some places I've sat down and done videos. I'll do Facebook Live videos once in a while of me cutting. To me, it's boring as heck to sit and watch it. Everybody loves it, and it's just one of those things that I guess I've become too comfortable with it, that I don't look at it as 7 years ago I would have loved to see somebody sitting and doing it.
Right.
But no, it's everybody's using it pretty good. I won't say I've turned anybody down. Some orders I may turn the price up a little bit, as in you're really going to have to pay me to do this because I don't want to, type of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to take any challenge.
Sweet.
So I know that you mentioned not being well, yeah, actually, what do you do for your 9 to 5, or what do you do for your day job?
I am actually a lead journeyman in low voltage. So I do networking, data, security, Wi-Fi, all of the fun stuff to make the world go round.
Do you like it? Do you like doing that?
Yeah, I do. I like where I'm at. I'm a very impatient guy when it comes to when I want something, and I want to be able to move up in my career. I want to be able to advance, and it's not happening fast enough for me, so it kind of flusters me.
Yeah.
But no, I love what I do. I'm the guy that gets along with everybody. I'm the guy that puts a smile on everybody's face when I walk in, because they don't know what I'm going to say. They don't know what to expect. It's just, you can't enjoy your day if everybody's down. So you always got to be somebody's got to be the light, somebody's got to be the clown. Just
Good
to
on
have
you.
fun.
Yeah, I'm glad for people like you.
Well, I hear you, especially on the job. I hate it when, like, first thing in the morning, you're trying to be upbeat. It's a choice. You don't want to be there just like everyone else, and you're like, good morning. They're like, what's so blankety blank good about it? You're like, whoa.
My biggest thing is I always tell everybody, good morning, sunshine. And I say it loud, and I say it fun. And I'm working actually over at Procter & Gamble alignment right now, doing a lot of the networking. And the security guard, he keeps calling me a fruitcake every morning. And I'm like, call me what you want. I was like, but you're sitting here miserable, and now you're laughing. He's like, you're right. It's just have fun with it. There's no reason to be that upset, because one person's down, they drag down everybody else, and you're miserable. And it's not healthy for anybody to work in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Curry said, back in the early 80s, I used to make cedar strip canoes and sold them for approximately $2,000. My wife figured it out that I was making about $1 an hour.
It's gotta be tough as a business owner to try to create a product and sell a product for a reasonable price and still make money off of it. It's very difficult. And I think that you guys have a tendency to undervalue yourselves and not realize that you're worth and make a little more. But that's my soapbox for the day.
So this ring, the Morgan Dollar, I think I charged it $100 or $125 because the price on them went up. I'm one of the cheapest you'll find online for quality.
Yeah.
Most everybody else I know is between $200 and $300. I can't justify charging that much because I would never spend that much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want people to be able to enjoy it. And the thing how I came up with my prices is, if somebody wants an 1887 or good condition, it's gonna be $45. If I break that coin or something happens to it, I have to buy another. Right. So there's $90. Yeah. That doesn't include any of my time or nothing, but at least my materials are covered in cost.
Yeah.
So that's where most of my costs came from. The only ones that I don't do that with is gold, just because that's astronomical to charge that much. But if I'm going to do a gold coin, the price is going to reflect, do I get to keep the gold scrap? Do I get to keep the center plug? Or, if you want that back, then this is going to be the set price.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask is, do you return? So I guess it's optional to either get your unused silver back or the scrap back, or you keep it.
Yep. It's on any coin. Like if somebody tells me that, they just received these coins from their dad's estate when he passed away, every bit of anything that comes with it gets going back to them.
Right.
I mean, I clean out, I got a little bucket I keep underneath where I cut, and I will take all the dust, every little sliver, and I put it in a baggie and send it back to them. And I've had people like call me out on it. They're like, dude, I thought you destroyed this thing. He's like, then I realized you sent me all the scrap. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not trying to just send you back a pile of nothing. It's all your coin. There's no right for me to keep it.
I can imagine, especially if someone is using a coin that has sentimental value, how good it feels to get all of it back, even if it's in pieces, to have it all back. You could do something else with it at a future date. Like, I could see the sentimental value wanting that.
Yeah, me too.
Says, when you try for perfection, you lose money in the hours. I am an extreme perfectionist. I will not send you something if it's something that I would not buy or wear.
Fair.
I've made the same pieces multiple times because I don't like the way they turned out. And I show other people, I'm like, dude, that looks amazing. I'm like, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I show them, they're like, that's so minimal. Like, why are you beating yourself up over it? That's because it's my name.
Right.
I'm known worldwide right now from all the metal detecting groups. And what I do, I get invited to metal detecting events as a sponsor multiple times a year. And again, it's hard. I don't get to get out and metal detect much anymore, so I don't want to go take everybody out there to do it. I would do it more if my kids enjoyed it more.
Yeah.
He's more impatient than I am. So when he's not finding anything and he sees me popping stuff out of the ground, he's not happy.
You said he's 12 though, right?
Yeah.
That may get better with time.
I know. I'm impatient. He needs to be ready now.
Well, patience is a virtue.
Yes. But I can say, like, even with my parents' yard, I've hit it with the Ace 250. I've hit it with an AT Pro. I've hit it with Equinox. I've hit it with the E-Track. I've hit it with the I can't even think of it now. The CTX 3030. I mean, I've literally hit it with every machine, and every time I go back, I still find more than I did the last time.
That's so crazy.
It's and random. Right in my mom and dad's front yard, I had a 1936 sixpence from Great Britain, and then it had 2 mercury dimes in the same hole.
My daughter says hi, guys.
Are you live?
Hi.
Hi.
So it's really strange you can find. And the piece I found that's actually up in the museum was a Tri-County Fair. As you know, Delphus has Tri-County, I can't even think, Canal Days is what they call it now, to represent the Miami Canal.
Yeah.
And back then it used to be the Tri-County Fair. And it said stop on in for a bully time, and it had a picture of a bull on it, and the back had the year for the Delphus Tri-County Fair, and I took it to the museum, and they actually had no record of those even existing. So I thought that was pretty cool to get that piece put in there.
Next time I'm downtown and the museum's open, I'll have to walk through and take a gander at it.
I've seen it once when I was there, but they moved stuff around so much I don't have the time with kids to try to find it anymore.
So a particular question I love asking, I'd always like to point out that I love this question, but I do. Let's move into metal detecting, which you mentioned you didn't have a lot of time for right now. But let's say no restrictions, no financial restrictions, no work restrictions, no holds bar. Where are the 3 places you're going to metal detect?
Mm-hmm. Well, being that I've never traveled outside the country, all 3 are likely going to be outside the country.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's a lot of places in the United States that you can't metal detect. I see it as a good thing and a bad thing, just because it's like the good versus evil. You can't let one person do it and not the next.
Yeah.
All right.
And sites would get destroyed. History would be, sold to the highest bidder, and I don't think that's fair. But the first place I would be going is Ireland. I can trace my family heritage back to Ireland. I would love to just go everywhere. I mean, because you're talking centuries and centuries of things that you can find. That would be number one on my list. 2 would be going down to Australia. Lots of great people down there. I think it'd be a great time, even if we don't find anything. I love the atmosphere, and there's a lot of good people down there.
Would you be looking for relics or gold in that area, or both? You can do whatever you want.
I'd be looking for whatever beeps. I'm not picky.
Yeah.
I've gone out and been the only digging high tones guy, and skipped over gold and didn't know it. Skipped over buff nickels and shield nickels and all the other fun stuff that's defined. When I first started, it was all about got to find that silver. That's all that was ingrained in my head.
Yeah.
And I would run through and just scan a yard super quick and then off to the next one. And as I got older, I got wiser and slowed down. And metal detecting with a lot of different people has helped out tremendously with that.
Yeah.
But if the last place I would say that I would want to metal detect, I would be back in the US, but it would be the White House lawn.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. That's a great answer.
I mean, it's just, you got to think nobody does it. So you never know what you're going to find. That you don't know if, one of the president's wives threw jewelry at him out the front door, or, what, and the history that you would find in that property alone. I mean, I know they have events there. They've always had events there and always had people from every era.
Yeah.
There might be 5 George Washington inaugural butts sitting up there in the ground. You never know. I mean, you'd literally find everything you would want to travel the country to find.
All right, I second that motion.
All right, Bill, it's been turned over, but a GPR will find it. Okay, Bill.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I think you said earlier you were at a lawn. You've been to this lawn multiple times, and you're still finding things. So it's gotta get that right swing. Yeah. Right.
I'll make sure Bill goes ahead of me because he'll leave me the gold. But speaking of that, how many of you guys metal detect cornfields?
I've never done a cornfield. I'm new though, super new.
So cornfields are probably my favorite place to metal detect, simply because we were doing there's a cornfield down in Delaware, Ohio. He said, all we're finding here is modern stuff. We're just going to go through and clean up the site, see what's going on. I was using an AT Pro with the Nell storm coil, and there's so much trash, it was just constantly going off. So I talked to, it was Dave that was with us, and I asked him, I said, can I try your E-Track? He's like, yeah, absolutely. And I was tickled to death. Like, that was the most expensive machine I've ever touched, and he's going to let me swing it around this field. And I had the 5x8, I think, butterfly coil on it. And the very first signal, it's just screaming. He says, oh, that's a pop cam. I was like, nah, I don't know. And I just kept going over it. And he's like, you got my interest now. If you're going to dig it. And I pulled it up, and I thought it was going to be my first large scent, because I'd never found a large scent at that point. And we start looking at it, and I swipe off a date of 1771.
Holy cow.
And my heart dropped. I started screaming for my father-in-law, who was with us, and they all come running over looking, and we're cleaning it up. My hands are shaking and didn't know what was going on. And it was a 1771 one Dansky from Denmark. Just a giant copper coin that had no place being in there with a bunch of wheat pennies and, clad. And that's what I said with cornfield. You have no idea what you're going to find. That could have been another property half a mile away, and over the years has been drugged with the plow and ended up right there.
You know, I know that a lot of relic collectors are also a fan of cornfields because they get turned, is what they say.
Yes.
You know, they turn it over and that, you know, it can reveal new things for you. So
Every
I never
year
thought
it's a
about
new
it for the
site.
detecting. Yeah.
Yep. Just definitely don't go in there with a giant coil. You will hate it. But doing lots of research, that's what ate up most of my time, was the research, trying to do map overlays, trying to find everything that I needed to try to pinpoint properties, and then trying to find the property owner. Am I allowed to dig up your field?
Right.
You know, and then you only have a short amount of time that you can dig it between harvest and when it freezes. So just timing never worked out for me. We found quite a few. We've done I've done better in fields than, you know, anywhere else. I got my first $50 out of the field. It was actually a 1876 seeded half that was told the cabin that was there burnt down, and the coin is actually burnt and melted, so it fits the story correctly.
Was that a local field?
That was down by Marysville.
Oh, okay. I had to go crab out my grandkids for a minute. And I'm right underneath our stairs in a bi-level house. I'm downstairs and they went upstairs, and I'm sure everyone in the audience heard them. I saw my mic spike to red. And it's like, I'm like, guys, you're sounded like a herd of elephants to me. Don't do that on Tuesdays. Don't do that.
Most of us are all family people here. We get it, Ed.
Oh, I locked myself in our sunroom add-on of our house that has no AC, so because all the kids are in the living room hollering and hooting.
How many kids do you have
3
altogether? Oh, I know the feeling. All boys though?
No, I have a 5-year-old boy, a 9-year-old daughter, and a 12-year-old boy.
Oh, okay. I have a daughter and 2 boys also. My daughter's the oldest. Thank goodness they have kids now, and they're starting to understand why I was how I was when they were young.
Yep. I think that's what happened to Dan's beard.
It's not that white.
I'm catching you, bud. I'm catching you.
So going through your pictures, Justin, when I was before I asked you about some pictures, I was going through your pictures, seeing what I could take for the thumbnail and stuff, and I saw your progress. You know, so how long have you been growing your beard?
Oh, let me think. 2018, when we moved back up here in this part of Ohio, I started to grow out a little bit, and somebody told me I needed a New Year's resolution. I said, fine, I'm not going to shave for a year. And I let it go, and it actually got longer than where I'm at right now in 1 year. And I left it, and then wanted to go to a new job and wanted to trim it down, so I trimmed it down, and I've actually shaved it completely off twice, and now this is where I'm kind of managing it. I keep cutting it back down again, but this is a year and a half in. Just start doing some beard competitions, which those are a lot of freaking fun.
Quite a few of the Flash fan members are not only beard rockers, but redheads.
We're gingers too.
Yeah, we've been talking about trying to get all these redheaded bearded guys together. I think if we get them enough together, we might be able to pull off like a solar eclipse or like change the axis of the earth or something. But like, I've never met so many redheaded bearded guys in my life.
But see, that's funny is every other hair on my head is dark except for my beard. I'm only a red beard.
Huh.
That counts. They'll take it. I know that.
I know.
Ginger beard's all right too.
You earlier, yeah.
Yeah, you should see JP's though. He's like ZZ Top. I think he tickles his belly button.
I have to keep mine under 10 inches, or else I go up against people who have 3-foot long beards in competitions, and that's not worth it to me. And I don't like riding the motorcycle and, you know, having it as a face mask.
Right. I can understand that.
You braid it.
Bugs in your teeth is one thing, but bugs in your beard and eyes is another.
Yeah, it's not fun. But no, the beard competitions are a lot of fun. Honestly, I'd like to see, you know, the kind of two of them get together and do something, because a beard comp it's about showcasing your beard, but every one of them is to raise money for a charity or for a local organization that needs help. And they got the Whiskerinas. Girls have an entire lineup, which is phenomenal, the stuff they come up with for fake beards. And you know, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like the metal detecting community. It's a giant family, and it's just another one of those groups that anybody and everybody fits in and is welcome. Like they even got a category for Dano down there.
This usually don't pay in the summer. I just have it in the winter.
The silver hair or the short, keeping it short?
The length is called the business beard. 0 to 4 inches is the business beard.
Gotcha.
And then when you got nice, unique color profiles like that, you stand out more and get more points from the judges.
Time to get in on it, Dano.
Is there a mullet of beards?
The first beard competition I had that had the best mullet, that was pretty cool.
I bet people get pretty creative with the waxes and stuff like that too.
Yep. So it's a very big community. They travel all over the place and always the first ones to help anybody out. You know, you see a bunch of guys with huge beards, you'd think they'd be the last ones to help, but they're always the first. You know, any charity that's, you know, struggling, or it's a smaller charity that, you know, don't take in many donations, if they're able to raise $10,000-$15,000 from one event, I mean, that's life-changing for that group, and then what they can do for other people. So it's a lot of fun. That's why I said I'd like to try to host something at some point with metal detecting and the bearded, and, you know, see if Bill can grow a nice beard for me while he shows up to it, 'cause I know he'll be there.
Yeah, I don't remember Bill's beard being anything like yours, though.
Oh no, he'll get there one day.
One day. Bill, you should come to Flash Bash next year, buddy.
Yep. Yeah, but the more silver in your beard, the more silver you find.
Oh, I like that. Does that go for hair too?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
If you cover it up, then that means you're getting clad.
Oh, I'll remember that. I'll remember that.
I have quite a bit of gray in my blonde locks now. My strawberry. My rock butcher. My wife won't let me grow a beard anymore since it all went white. She says I look like Santa. All I can rock now is a goatee. Haha. Yeah, that's about like me. I just have a short goatee. Probably because I couldn't even grow a flippin' mustache till I was 32.
That's funny, Ed, because I have no problem growing mine.
I'm not going there.
Yeah, is there a lady mustache competition?
Like I said, they call them Whiskerinas. The women do everything from taking pages out of a book and rolling them up in flowers and making a full beard out of that. So they do like a realistic look. I mean, it's literally whatever your imagination can create is what you take out there and represent.
That's super cool.
It is. They had a kids competition when we went, so my wife actually took yarn and crocheted and made beards for both of my kids that wanted to participate, and it was a lot of fun.
That's cool. So it takes you all over the state or all over the east, or?
Oh, it's all over the country. There's beard clubs just like there's metal detecting clubs. So they'll host, like the one we went to, we had people come up from North Carolina, we had people from Michigan, we were down on the Ohio River. We had Pennsylvania, Indiana. I mean, they come from everywhere, just like they would a metal detecting event. and all you got to do is showcase your beard.
I'm having an idea for next Splash Bash, Rose. Do you know? A beard off.
You better start massaging some beard oil on your beard and start growing it.
Oh, no, I won't be into it. Now, Otis, when he comes back, he'd win the goatee off, you know. He has a wicked goat. So, what's your plans for the future? Gonna make room for detecting and exploring and stuff, or beard offs and jewelry?
I want to travel. So, I mean, anytime we go anywhere, I still take my metal detector. I always get that, we go to the beach, and I'm like a kid on Christmas morning. I want to run out there and scour the entire beach and, don't find anything. And then I get that same feeling again, then have to talk to myself. I want to keep going. I'll get back into it to a point, but I'm to the point in my life now to where if I'm going to do something, I want my kids to be involved. So until I can get them to take an interest, I can't justify taking time away to go do something else.
Right.
So I'm going to I'll keep at it. I let them play with them once in a while.
They're only young for a little while, and that time flies by. So
right. It does.
Can definitely understand where you're coming from with that. Our friend Bill says beard oil. I use bacon grease. That could explain some of your issues out in the woods, huh?
Yeah, that's why the flies and ticks attack him. I don't know why, too. You're frozen on my screen.
Really?
Oh.
I've even closed YouTube and reopened it again.
Well, I'm frozen because it's a picture.
Okay.
Because I had to vacate for a minute to tell my grandkids to walk softly going up and down the stairs.
Gotcha.
I'm like, can't you see the red light that says live?
But they want to be included, see?
Usually that's my youngest, and she'll sneak behind my green screen and pop her head up and like, hi, Papa. So I let her wave to everybody.
My 17-year-old likes to pop her little head in and wave. That's what she likes to do. Is do that real quick and then she disappears. So.
They'll do that.
They just want a little screen time. That's it.
Right. That's okay.
Uh-oh.
If she comes in, she'll get it. I better keep quiet about that, or I'll have 3 grandkids in here. What?
It's like you froze up.
Yeah. He has 4 white bars, so I don't know why. Oh, he's back.
Just got to unmute.
He's back.
There we go.
There you go. Got it.
My son must have just turned on his Xbox.
Eating your bandwidth.
Oh, I live in the country, so I don't have any good internet. I think I have a 20 meg connection, while most everybody else in the world's like a 200. So.
Right. Who's your provider out there?
Yeah, in the country, getting 20 meg is actually still pretty decent in the long run of things.
I have speed waves now, which they point to a cell tower that's closer towards town. And I just have a little dish up on my telephone pole outside. But I'm literally half a mile out of range of being able to get a 100 meg connection.
Man.
So I'm waiting for them to upgrade, and Spectrum is literally right down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not even a quarter mile down the road.
No, it's pretty close to you.
Yep. They want $11,000 to bring it down to my house, and it's just not worth it.
Oh, jeez.
So
we are for a very long time only had the option of Spectrum, which I just think they have the worst customer service ever. But we were one of the first areas to get AT&T fiber, and they put the box right outside of our house too. So like that was a game changer for us.
Yep, and I worked for Spectrum for years, so I'm aware.
Yeah.
AT&T fiber, they put it in, they wouldn't disconnect stuff correctly, and they'd crash Spectrum, and then we'd crash them, and it was a fun.
Yeah, right.
Yes, I want Starlink too, Randy. Starlink is Elon Musk's internet system. Yeah. It's like $500 for the initial setup for the equipment, and then it's extremely cheap and crazy fast.
What is it? Is it like satellite? How do you get it? Okay.
So if you haven't seen the Starlink satellites, you can actually go to Starlink's website and look, and it'll tell you when they're overhead. And it's literally like a train of satellites that will fly overhead. It looks really cool, but he's supposed to have full coverage everywhere. Yeah, it's $600 for the initial fee, and then $100 a month.
And then they'll be able to keep tabs on you all the time.
Oh, they've been doing that forever, Ed. That's so old.
It reminds me of a British rock group.
What's cool about the Starlink though too is, say if you guys are going to go do a metal detecting event, you can actually pay us like $25, and you can take and put your equipment in your vehicle with you and take it and set it up there and be able to broadcast internet out for everybody at the event.
Oh.
That is pretty cool.
It's
yeah.
a mobile setup you can take anywhere, and we'll be able to set all that up. So that's going to be huge for a lot of events and a lot of, things that people want to do to be able to provide special access, I guess, to the fans. And
yeah, that's fancy.
That will come in handy in the future. Haha. Ooh, RV, look at that.
Uncle Beat, though, with your phone, though, you might be able to get 1 or 2 people some internet. I think what they're saying is that everybody's going to be able to use the internet.
Yeah, you'd be able to hook up your Wi-Fi access point to it.
Yeah.
You know what really sucks? With my old cell phone, Rose, I could create a hotspot, and it worked pretty good off the network. With my new cell phone, though, I have to... They'll force me to buy one of their boxes, like a Verizon hotspot box, instead of being able to use my phone.
Well, that's weird. Yeah, I didn't know Verizon had hotspot boxes. I just use my phone with Verizon.
Well, with my old phone, I could hook it up to my booster on my travel trailer and be able to have Wi-Fi around my travel trailer. Now I can't do it. Doggone technology. I love it, hate it.
Right. I totally feel you on that. So do you do any other form of treasure hunting? Any relic hunting, bottle digging, magnet fishing, gold panning?
Or did you before you got so busy?
Right.
Not really into those. I've always been an outdoorsy guy and always walked the creek looking for stuff. I'm one of those weird guys that's highly fascinated by rocks that look cool.
Yeah.
You're among friends here then.
Yeah.
I have boxes of rocks, and all my kids are obsessed with them, and they find them. And I'm always looking, even on job sites. They'll bring in a bunch of crushed stone, and I'll find geodes laying in it, and it's like I'm freaking out over it. And the other guys are like laughing. It's like, you don't understand. Like, this shouldn't be on this stone right here. People walking.
You know what's funny, Justin? Have you been down 30 towards Fort Wayne? The new Alliance factory there in Van Wert?
Yep.
Well, when we were digging the pond for it, when our site crew was digging the pond, I was laying out columns and footers and stuff for the factory. I come in one day, they started a lot earlier, and actually I was driving a dump truck that day. I come in to drive, and they're like, Ed, check this out. And I'm like, what, you find a sand seam or a lens down there? And it was a 4-inch layer, pure black, about 12 feet below. I had 12 feet of silt looms and topsoil, silt looms, clay, a black layer about 4 inches deep, all the way around the pond, about 12 feet down on a real hard pan, like greenish hard pan, like that stuff we get at No Tell 'em Creek, Dano, that real hard pan layer. And I'm like, ooh, ah. So I'm looking all over for a bucket. I get this tiny bucket, tiny thing, filled it up. I ended up having like 78 specks of gold in it.
Wow.
And we joked around like, okay, time to turn it into mine. Who cares about alliance? And
right.
The guys are like, well, would that be worth it? And I'm like, oh, hell no. The owner would be extremely pissed off at us, both of our company and of Alliance. We'd burn way more of their diesel fuel than we could ever make in gold, just getting down to it. But, you know, I'm a prospector, first and foremost, out of all my fingers, and so whenever I come across a sand lens or a nice black seam like that, I'll take a sample and just see what's in it. But I was pretty shocked. It was only like a half-gallon pail. And from a sample like that, shoot, if I was sitting in my hole on Jennings Creek or by your house, Dano, or even at Picker Hollow, I'd be happy getting that in the days of dredging.
Oh yeah.
But, yeah, just a small little, maybe a gallon bucket, maybe. A small little thing.
Question for you though. Did you happen to hit any of the sidewalks and they tore them out of Delphus?
No, unfortunately.
I wanted to, and I wanted to hit the football field before they turfed it, and I totally missed my chance to do that. I am extremely upset that I missed that, because that's many, many years of games played and jewelry lost on that field.
Well, maybe someday they'll tear up the turf and we'll have our chance again.
Oh, if they do, I'm going at night and all night.
Hey, what, them old brick streets would be a good one to hit too, if they ever tear up the old brick streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Pierce Street here is still brick, you know, that's about the only brick street in town.
They're too cheap to tear it up, they just would rather pave over it.
Yeah.
Yes, take your two-toes tool with you in your detector, and when you find a signal, dig that crack out.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Just watch for traffic, you don't want to get hit.
I work in construction, I got high vis.
That's right. That's right.
But no, it's a lot of fun. There's still a lot of properties in town I want to hit. I know Terry over in Van Wert has hit almost every public location, so I don't tend to go to them anymore. I found out the hard way. I wasted a lot of time checking properties that he's pounded to death over the years.
Terry
Barnhart.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of his YouTube channel name, but he's been metal detecting this area and every little town around us for years and years and years. I think he said out at Landeck he pulled like 140 something silver coins out of their yard at the school.
Oh, nice.
I mean,
I just got a permission on an old farmhouse in Landeck that the owner said no one's ever detected it as long as they've lived there.
Wow.
2 generations, I think, she said. She was a teacher. I think she was a teacher in Delphus. I'm not sure if it was for Jefferson or St. John's. So, yeah, I plan on hitting it, BC. I plan on hitting it.
Yep.
And she says I could keep anything, even if it's a family heirloom. She just wants to be there when I find it to see what I find. And I'm like, I have no problem giving it to you, and especially if it's a family heirloom or a nice ring or something. Just let me get a picture of it. That's all I ask for. And she's like, no, you can keep it. I'm like, cool.
One thing that's always worked for me is I inform people I'm not a treasure hunter. I'm not doing this to get rich. I'm doing this to see what other generations have left behind for me to find.
A history hunter.
That's when I explain that to them. I'm like, look, I'm not here to strike the rich. I was like, if I find gold, you're more than welcome to have it. I mean, this is your property. You're more than welcome to have anything I find. I said, I would like to keep some things as, for finding it, and be able to take a record of it, notate it. I said, but should you want everything, then you can have it. And most of the time, they'll be hesitant, and they'll come out and they'll see me start finding stuff. And then that's when you get when I was a little girl, there was a story about my grandma losing her ring over in this part of the yard. And then you open up the doorway that you're willing to go help them try to find it instead of trying to treasure hunt as they think. And it's amazing the connection you can make. And then because you find stuff for them, then it just opens up a whole door. They start spreading the word or telling, so-and-so down the street, they just found a ring, that her grandma had when she was a kid, and she got it back. So then now they want you to come see what they can find in their yard. And it's worked out great for me, especially in Columbus, because you have some of them really nice houses with well manicured lawns, and there's so much sitting there, and I've gotten quite a few of them.
Nice. Yeah, wording's important. Manners is a big thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Be confident. And so far, I've been hitting at people I've done jobs on their houses, or like I just did a big add-on at Untitled in Kalida. I talked to the Untitled, hey, could I hit the family farm? Not the homestead, the one where you started the Untitled implements. They're like, sure, okay. And so got that. Then another guy who works a machine found out, drove by, came in, gave me a map to get to their place, and gave me aerial photographs, and the house was here, the barn was here, there's still a garage, and there's still a smokehouse. Have at it. I'm like, one question, where was the clothesline? First time there, I found a jacks, an old nickel, and 4 wheat cents. I know there's silver there. Silver there. Just
I've sniffed silver out of places that it never should have been.
It's there. Coins travel,
They do. They do. And knowing your machine is key. It doesn't matter what machine you have.
Jesse would say that pretty much about anything, from prospecting to magnet fishing. I don't think it matters. He'd be like, know your tool. Know your piece of equipment. I'm learning my knocks. I'm still very pleased at the 3 nuggets it got me in California when we were out there. That was a great day, huh, Dano?
It's a great day out.
Yeah,
We all found gold.
yeah, that 3 beautiful nuggets.
My favorite machine by far was probably my E-Track.
What happened to it? Yeah, like why aren't you using it anymore?
New stuff came out, so I had to keep upgrading it. I went from the E-Track to a CTX, and then hated the CTX and wanted to go back to an E-Track. And then I ended up going back to an AT Pro, and then kind of bounced around. Then I actually got rid of everything, and then I bought an Equinox, and then I sold the Equinox because I needed tires for my motorcycle. And then I bought another Equinox, and then now I have a Garrett 350 and Ace 350 and an Ace 300, I think, out there with my Equinox. And I don't know.
If I still had a bike, I'd probably been the same way.
Yeah.
Motorcycle tires.
The kids like to ride on the bike with me. That's what I had to look at. And the E-Track, you could tell me a place was pounded and I would still pull stuff out. It didn't matter how hard 50 people hit it, I would still find something. I got my oldest ever silver with it, and that was a 1782 half real. And what was funny is the other guy I was metal detecting with was probably 30 yards away from me. He heard it squeak in my headphones, and he just stopped and turned around and looked at me and said, "Was that really what I thought it was?" I hit it a couple more times. I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, we've destroyed this field." He's like, "I didn't expect you to find anything." And we pulled it out, and it was the oldest silver they'd found on that site.
Wow.
I mean, it's luck of the draw, but it's technique. It's listening to your machine. It's how you set everything up. It's not asking everybody, what's the best settings for this? What's the best settings for this? The best setting is you being out there trying it.
Yes. Yeah.
And, people can give you a base and tell you where to start. But like even now, you ask me what the best setting for the Nox is, I'll tell you the power button. I don't know any of the settings. I don't know how to set anything up in there. And I don't know. I haven't taken enough time with it and given it a chance, I guess. But I know that it's a good machine and I'm gonna find stuff. It's just turn it on and go.
I'm slowly learning, but yeah, I know what you're saying. There's so much stuff on there. It's just hard to figure it all out at once.
Yeah. It's like, should I be in field, or should I be in park, or should I be in this? And well, if you put it in this, you're going to miss this. I don't want to miss anything. Where's everything?
Right. Setting, right.
And then to add it off, I think we've all agreed already, but finding the time to go out and learn more and do more of it and get more used to it. I think it's hard for all of us.
Well, it's hard to play with the settings because you don't want to go to this setting and miss something.
Yeah.
Right.
So you want to stick with what somebody else said, and you spend all this time using it and find out if you would have went to, part 2, you would have found everything you just missed. And it's like with the E-Track, you could build your own custom programs, hit the tones you wanted, set up test beds, and then just go with it.
So it's a lot like the Nox. So
yeah, it was older technology, but you'd connect it right up to the laptop and build the custom setup however you wanted it. And I loved it. It was probably one of the best machines I've ever used. There's a lot of people that are still stuck on them.
Sometimes old technology is better than new technology.
I know a lot of people that still swing the old whites from the 70s and 80s.
So you have a couple questions, so go ahead and ask them. Our friend Full of Gold would like to know, what's the best pull tab you've ever dug?
I've dug a lot. I mean, a lot. I don't know, probably, I don't know. On my website, if you look, you'll see I have pull tab pendants on there. One of those was exact copy off the pull tab I dug, so I'd have to say that one.
And then I don't know if this is a question you can answer, so I'll kind of ask it as a whole, but Rock Butcher wanted to know, are there different machines for people who want to detect just gold nuggets versus field detectors?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's special machines for everything. I mean,
And-
Sasora makes phenomenal gold machines that are made to detect small gold. And they're as simple as turning a dial.
Yeah. It's a shame they're no longer in business.
I know. But even
Yeah.
you got what, the GPX 5000, isn't that one of them that's
Yeah.
Mine
What's
Labs,
the
Gold
one?
Prospecting?
Yeah. Also, Mine Lab has the Gold Monster 1000. What's the one that Gary and Todd uses?
SDCs.
Yeah.
They find some small gold. It's amazing what them guys find with those.
The Gold Bug 2, the Gold Bug Pro, the Nacro, which I can't pronounce that detector's name to save my life. Nacro Macro or whatever it is.
Oh, Nocta Macro?
Yeah, thank you. I love their pinpointer, which I have, but don't they have the Gold Cruiser?
Yeah. I'd like to get their pulse dive.
Yeah, our friend Bedrock Bennett uses a pulse dive when he's sniping, and that's a pulse induction detector also, which works best for gold.
Yes.
For nugget shooting. Guido, how you doing? But yes, the long and short of that question is yes. It was answered in the room by several rows, but
Oh, sorry guys.
hey, no reason. Feel free to ask. So that's you.
Yeah, I was just letting everybody know, if you've got questions, if you want to ask anything about the rings or the pendants or detecting, go ahead and ask a question, guys.
What's Garrett's pulse induction machine? The ATX?
Oh, that's the one that folds up.
Yes.
ATX, I believe it
Yep.
is.
That's another one that you can use.
Oh, hey, brother. James Van Cleve. Good to see you in here. The Garrett ATX.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a spendy machine, though, but any good gold machine is kind of spendy. Got a big price tag on it.
Just like with everything else, you're only as good as the time you put into them.
That's true.
Like my son wants a $200-300 baseball bat, and I tell him all the time they swing the same. It's all about how you learn it.
I was gonna say, it's so funny because I think my husband would disagree, but
No, I mean there are benefits, yes, but you know, he wanted a new bat because he didn't want the ting sound. He wanted more of the thump sound. I'm like, I'm not buying a bat for the way it sounds. I said, hit the ball first, and then we can figure out the sounds later. It's, you can't jump for the highest. And I've done that. I mean, I jumped and went for the all-out best machine because everybody said it was the best, and I absolutely hated it. It's whatever you're comfortable with. It's whatever you're good with. You know, a lot of people love the CTX 3030. Said it was a well-balanced machine, and they must have been a different height than me because it was very uncomfortable. But the E-Track, the Equinox, and all of those have always just felt comfortable right at home.
David Villa says, explain ghost signals. What's a halo?
You got more experience in this than I do here.
yeah, I have no idea. So I was excited.
I'm not really a detectorist. I've had detectors for years, but what I usually use them for is I'm just starting to get into yards and fields. Most of the time I'm walking the creek, and anything that sounds off, I dig and run through my sluice. So
so I mean, you'll have ghosting, which it's really hard to describe.
A false signal.
Yeah, is that where it goes off and then you find nothing when you dig?
And you're like,
yeah, you do that
hell?
a lot. You'll do it with your pinpointer a lot. You know that.
There you
ghosting
go.
Ghosting is mostly, say, or false signal. Say you're pinpointing, and you get your wedding ring on your hand, and you got your glove on, and you totally forget your wedding ring's there. And every time you scoop it up, you can hear it, but you shake it out, there's nothing there. That's exactly what it's like.
Okay, Bill, the encyclopedia here in the house of metal detecting, our house professional. Ghost signals are the split-second beep the hole makes from a recent dig, also from an iron halo you break up once you cut the plug. Your machine lies, David.
Yeah.
Yes. Iron will give you many falses. You can have 2-foot deep iron and keep getting chirps one way but not the other way. It's an iffy signal.
Well, and Angela always told me too, when sometimes we get holes that would beep and we dig those holes and we'd never find anything, but the soil would be a little off, like maybe something had disintegrated in it, something was there at some point. So
yep. Ground balance is your friend.
It's driving crazy.
Bill also says, over time, metallics leach out minerals, creating a halo that seems much larger than the original item. That makes sense. And then, like some ground, you were talking about not making jewelry out of coins that people have found because they get properties from the surrounding soil.
Yeah.
They can get pitting. You can get to where the silver will actually start to delaminate, so it starts flaking up. Like I say, if you want me to cut up a coin, I'll cut up any coin. I'm not biased on that. When I make a ring out of it, that's where I have to draw the line, just because you're putting a lot of stress on a coin that was not made to be pushed to the limits I take them.
Do you have any idea how much or how long it has to be in the ground to have that happen?
No clue. So the first $50 I did, I think, was a Walker, maybe a 1936, and just split instantly. No idea how long it had been in the ground. It could have been since the 50s, could have been dropped in 36. But it also depends on the area. Everybody's soil is different. So it could be, literally, it could be iron, it could be any other element that's there. If it's in say close to these big cities where you got all the pollution and everything coming up, and they call acid rain coming down, and that can change everything. Sorry, Gold Pro, I do cut more organs up.
I want to say something to my brother. The U.S. Postal Service is pulling a Miss Laurel with my brother and I, Rose.
Man, I'm sorry to hear, but maybe it'll
sent
show
him
up
a
2 years
Utah
later.
gold back and some other stuff, and it's been months in a priority envelope, I believe.
Yep.
Maybe not. I'm having a hard time remembering that but it's been months. And usually he has it in like 7 days.
When you deal with theft, when you get theft from the U.S. Postal Service, which happens, whether you guys want to agree with me or not, you get the box. They send you the box, but the box has been ripped open big enough for you to, fit a finger or two in there or pull the item out. Like, you get the box. And I think that when it's a lost item, you get nothing. I would say that if they're not receiving the package, it's probably not theft. It's probably fallen behind some sort of conveyor belt somewhere, and maybe someday you'll see it again.
Oh, hell's bells.
Sorry to hear it, man.
I
really
wish they'd find it. Well, it hasn't been a year yet, like your package from Miss Laura.
Ours was two years. It was from the very beginning of our channel. Honestly, like when we met with you guys the first time is when we met Miss Laurel, and she sent that package pretty close after being on Flash in Your Pan for the very first time.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it showed up. That's
well,
the craziest thing I've
the post office
ever
more often.
Yep.
Oh, cool little chopper there and another bike.
Those are the motorcycles I made out of coins.
Cool.
Oh, so cute.
Now, what are you doing? I'm sure you save all your silver shavings and all that.
I save them, but I do not keep them. I have my own Guido out in New York that I send everything to, and he returns me with silver coins.
Oh, that's cool.
And he takes everything and smelts it down. Here's another one that I don't have posted on my website.
Oh, cool. A lighthouse. Nice.
I'm trying to find the Morgan Dollar ones I cut up just so I could show him real quick.
I'm crying.
Jeff's gonna be crying now. Mr. Lodak's gonna be, yeah, melt it.
So can people buy a blank coin from you and ask for a design, or do they give you a coin and then you smooth it out?
Try to get that loaded. That's 1 day's worth of work if that comes through. There it goes.
Wow.
Yeah, you have Punisher skulls and
I saw that one too.
coils and
so as in, are you talking like me actually put a design onto the coin?
Right, yeah. So say I have an idea for you.
Okay.
Like for instance, like an F-15 plane, you know?
Okay.
Do you have blank coins that I could purchase from you that you could put a design onto, or do you need me to hunt down a coin with an F-15 on it?
No, you won't find a coin with an F-15 on it. I'll have to come up with a design that depicts what you're looking for and then find a way to cut it and get it to actually show up and be legible.
So could I send you just a random silver coin and you make that work with that, or do you sell them, or how
yeah, don't send me nothing unless it's sentimental. I'll get everything.
Gotcha.
I keep up on my coins and everything that I need. I have quite a few, mainly 64 Kennedys, just because they're one of the most populated, and I'm not hurting any key dates, because I have done those too. Don't yell at me. But I mainly do the 64s, like, just because I get them readily available for fairly cheap. And when I say fairly cheap, I'm still paying $12 a piece for them. So, going back to me not raising my prices, I was getting those for $5 each, and now they've more than doubled and kept the prices the same. So it goes back and forth on that, but I like the design on it. And originally what I tried to do was to focus most of my designs on still showing off the coin. Like if you look at the Punisher, when I make that, the tip of the wings from the eagle gives him eyebrows, so it makes him stand out. And then I do the arrowheads, and it all fits so perfectly on there, and that's the way I designed that to be. And then I do get a lot of the other ones to where like the disc golf one where I just completely chop it up to make it. It's the way it goes. But unless you have a specific coin you want me to chop up, I provide everything. And that's why I also have a 2-week lead time, even on my website.
Yeah.
Or people message me, I usually try to work with them, just because I don't have time to run out and make it right now. Or if I got to order a specific coin in, I got to have time for the coin to come in and time for me to be able to make it, because I usually only work my jewelry on the weekends. Final. I felt like my thumb was going to fall off from scrolling. So that there is, I'm not a Tennessee fan, but that there is probably my most proud one because that's all completely hand cut and it fits perfect either way I put it back into the coin.
Oh, that could be a really sweet his and hers thing too, you know?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like a mitzvah, you know, or you know those hearts you get, or
Yep.
I have some in front of me actually. My kids have the other half of a heart that goes together. But I've seen some on your site where they fit together like a his and hers type thing.
I have the buck and doe, then I have the all's his and puzzle piece. I got a couple of them that do that, which frankly I thought those were going to be a big hit, and they didn't. I've hardly sold any of them. So that's what's really hard about this too, is I make everything to order. So to sit down and build an inventory, I can't find the other pictures, but to sit down and build an inventory of stuff that may or may not sell doesn't work out in my favor as far as monetary value. I don't want to have a ton of inventory to sit on.
Well, that's understandable.
But that's like the other night, he's like, you send me a picture for the thumbnail. And I literally just sat out there for about 6 hours cutting all those coins. And I was like, yeah, I hurried up and cleaned them up real quick and laid them in my hand and took a picture. And the very next day I had, I think, 18 packages going out in the mail.
Wow.
So I get that all the time. They're like, oh, can you show me a picture of this? Or, you know, what's the diameter of that ring? I don't know. Order one and I'll tell you. No, I don't just... a lot of people seem to think I have everything, you know, made. The only jewelry I have here is literally my jewelry. I know a lot of people I do this with that sell a lot and they do trade shows and they're sitting on a ton of inventory. That's too much money to be sitting on that may or may not sell. You know, that's taking money out of your pocket. I'd rather have it ready to go.
Yeah.
That's why everything I do is made to order. And it'd be nice to have some of it made ahead. But then when you do that, then you're going to get lazy because you're just going to hurry up and ship it. And all of a sudden, you're not going to realize you don't have any left. And then you're in a pickle. And it's just like the steady, slow process.
I think that's all pretty reasonable, especially being a small business, a weekend business. And, you know, maybe someday it goes into something more. But I'd like you said, having that extra inventory could be potentially hurtful, especially when you said you thought the his and hers would do better, which is, I would have thought the same thing too. But
well, I've got a lot of stuff that I've done that I thought would sell, and that's a flop.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff I usually give away. But you know, I got to the point now it's where I have another hobby. I'm actually sitting right beside my new laser, so I'm trying to make laser things. I enjoy making the jewelry, but I would like to get to the points where I can allow a tool to do the work for me and not me be the tool.
Yeah.
Especially with my kids being more active. So I have the coin rings, and I have my laser business, and my wife does shirts and tumblers, and you know, just trying to keep everything going to find something that does take off.
Yeah.
You know, then
she
I could
does
stay.
Heat transfer or silk screen?
No, she does vinyl.
Oh, okay.
So she does the vinyl shirts and tumblers, and I do the laser engraving. I'm trying to say I don't have a lot of examples to show you guys on the laser engraving because I sell everything. No, it's fun. I'd really like to be able to get to a fiber laser at some point. It's a longer process, but it would be able to cut the coin, and I could literally do any design I'd want to, and I can set it and walk away and not sit there for 3 hours on that one coin.
Well,
you know, then I'd be able to bring prices down.
And really handcrafted.
Right. That's why I started the new business with the lasers. So that's why I'm running 2 of them. So I'm keeping it both ways. I've wanted to get out of jewelry making just because of the time it takes. But then I sit back and look that it pays for my gas money every week to go to work. It pays for my lunches. It's not taking money out of my paycheck that feeds my family.
Yeah.
So it's the hardest part of doing this is keeping it just enough to make everything work and not get too big so I don't have time to do it. And once you get to that point, you're either going to hate it and shut it down, or you're going to work yourself to death.
Yeah.
And I can't hire somebody to come do it because it's my designs. It's my way of cutting. It's not their way of cutting. Nobody's going to do it the way that I do it. So
no knuckle busting jokes. Must be talking Bill.
Yeah.
Fiber laser. Shrouded weeds goes through me like a laser. Does that count? Oh, Bill.
yes, Bill. It's just the way the fiber laser, it's instead of having a diode or a CO2 tube on the back of it, it actually uses fiber optic cables coming from the main unit to the laser head, so it's able to actually engrave into metal.
Which I suppose will be important if you do continue to, you know, make pendants or,
right.
Yeah.
Right. It's either that or I would have to extremely simplify what's in my shop to some basic ones that I can pay a tool and die maker to make me specific dies, to where if it gets too big, I can just sit there and just, you know, punch out each one.
Them. Yeah, I wanted to ask if you could do that, or if, you know, if you had popular enough items, if that would be worth your while.
Yeah, but I'm not ready to take it to that step. For one, it's a big investment and the trial and error of getting it right. And then once I get it, how do I make sure that it's lined up perfect?
Yeah.
And I don't want to keep scrapping coins. Like honestly, the only thing I do is I design whatever image I want. I make sure everything looks good. I size it up and I print it onto a sticker paper that you use for shipping labels. And then I cut it out and I stick it on the coin. And then if you rub the coin, just like the old trick with the pencil on paper, how you can see what's there, you just rub it and all of a sudden you see the actual image of the coin come through, so I know if it's centered up. And that's how I do everything now.
Wow.
And then I just follow my lines. And
so much work, man. That's a handcraft. That's crazy.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But it's rewarding though when, you know, it's been how many years and Bill says that he still got my ring.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I happened to go to a funeral and a lady walked up and I didn't no idea who she was, but she recognized me from looking me up and finding me. And she says, "I haven't taken your necklace off since I bought it from you."
Wow.
And I had to look to see what necklace it was to even know who she, or, you know, what order it might have been.
Yeah.
And I got multiple repeat buyers on my website that'll hit me up and they're like, "Hey, I need like 5 more of those." It's like, cool. He's like, "Yeah, every time I get them, if somebody sees it wants it, so I give it to them and I have to buy another one."
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome that people appreciate my work that much to do that. And it's very hard to show your excitement for that. Like, I'm not a flashy person.
You seem like a humble guy for sure.
Yeah, I don't want, like, I did this for him because he asked. But I don't do a YouTube channel because I don't want to show what I'm doing. And in fact, I don't want to take the time to sit down, edit, and create it, make sure I'm going to get copyright claims and all the other stuff that comes along with it.
Yeah. I was going to, I know we're getting close to end time here, but I was going to ask, are you ever worried about getting in trouble for defacing money?
So I'm not defacing money. So if you actually look up the law, Bill might remember this one too, because I get asked it every time I do a radio show.
Yeah.
The law claims anybody who is fraudulently altering the value of the coin. So take a 1916 Mercury dime, and if it has a P mint mark on it, it's worth $3. If it has a D mint mark on it, it's worth $1,500. So by fraudulently altering that coin, you're changing the numismatic value. I don't offer these to anybody other than what they are. If I tell you it's a 50 cent or silver half dollar, it says in the description it's a silver half dollar or a 1964 Kennedy. You know, that's what I'm advertising as. That's where you'll get yourself into trouble. And the easiest way to describe it is how many pennies have you smashed at the zoo or at the fair
Right.
And I mean, you go to any of the monuments and they have them outside, and those are government-run institutions. So how can they yell at me for cutting up a coin when they're doing the same thing?
Good point. That's a great point.
I can tell
Tidbit
you
of
that
information.
I can't think of the name of the company now. I did get a trademark suit against me for one of my designs, Browning, because I did a buck logo in the middle of the arrowhead, and it apparently closely resembled theirs enough that they sent me that they were going to sue me if I didn't immediately remove it.
Wow, that's scary.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
I can't compete with Browning.
Right.
No,
But it was
they can afford a lot better lawyers than you can.
right. Well, just thinking about it, I had no idea that was that. I knew they had their logo, but I didn't know that the design that I chose happened to closely resemble it.
Right.
And the only argument I could have is mine's hand cut. It's not exactly your logo, because regardless, I'm hand cutting, so it's never going to match your logo perfectly.
Right.
But,
yeah, who wants to play that game, right? Like,
yeah, not me.
Right.
Right. Well, that 2 hours have flown by. Thanks for joining us tonight, Justin. I greatly appreciate you coming on. Enjoy hearing about one of your side hustles. Hopefully one day you won't have to clock in and you could just do the family thing.
Yep, we'll get there.
Maybe when your kids are older, though, you know. I get it. I get what you said. You're right.
Put them to work too. Okay, kids. He survived it all, Ed. Yeah, that's true. Justin survived us.
Oh, I'm surprised I didn't fall asleep. It's past my bedtime. The storms last night kept me up, and I'm running about 4 hours of sleep. So.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Put
Yeah.
me to bed. I think it kept Judy up, but put me asleep. When I walked outside to watch the light show, it didn't show at all for me as I was impatiently waiting. So I'm like, okay, bedtime now.
Yeah, the wind was enough that it threw my grill, threw all of our lawn furniture out back. It ripped shingles up off my roof.
Ooh,
I mean, 11 o'clock last night, I was on the roof trying to lay them back down so the next windstorm didn't rip them off.
Good.
So sorry, man.
I seen up north where lightning was just crashing. We didn't get it. It was up by Salina in your area. Man, lightning was just crashing down one hour.
Oh, it was insane.
The worst went between us and Salina.
Yeah.
But I know the feeling, Justin. I had a big sheer wind rip off the front of my roof. Shoot, 2 years ago, I think it was. So.
Well, in 2018, the windstorm we had come through ripped up a lot more than that, so I put a new roof on it, and then now that's ripping back up again. So I got to find another solution.
Metal roof?
Oh, that'd be another job.
It's all another job.
Yep. No, we'll get there. But I appreciate you having me on tonight. I'm glad I was able to make it. We had no hiccups.
And no hiccups is always good, but hey, it's live entertainment for you, you know, and you never know what will happen.
See, what's funny too is the last one that we did, I did with Josh Kimmel out of Salina.
Yeah.
And that day that we were supposed to do it, we had power outage and had extreme winds. And I was out trying to get the generator started, and my son decided to chase me, and the steel door in the barn slammed shut and laid his hand open.
Ooh.
So I had to resign, and we had to go to the hospital and get stitches. So then all day today, I'm like, please, the wind was last night. It's not tonight, so we're good there. Keep the kids inside.
Yeah.
It's always something.
Josh, Beyond Sight and Sound, great show,
He's
great
a great
guy. Yeah, it's a really good guy.
Yep.
But
And,
that sucks about your son.
Oh, he's fine.
I was gonna bring up a time, I know how that is, but who was it? The Backyard Boys or some Backwoods Boys or something from PA? We were in pre-show, and my power went out. Boom, lost everything. I'm like, oh shit. At that time we were using Skype. I got them all back on Skype on my phone, and I'm outside frantically heading towards my neighbors because they have a Generac home generator, which runs off of natural gas, and I'm headed over to their house to see if they're home, and he comes out their back door and he's like, "Hey Ed, getting ready for the show?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the only house with lights on in the neighborhood." And he's like, "Let me guess, you need some power." And I'm like, "Please." And next thing I know, I have them in my back pocket while I'm trying to talk to them, telling them what I'm doing, and stretching extension cords from my house to my router upstairs, my computer tower downstairs. But the show went on. It was a little late that night, but it still went on. But, yeah, and no one got hurt, thank God.
Good.
Yeah, it's been great having you on. Maybe someday we'll hit the river or hit a field, but you have 3 young kids, and
Oh, well,
we're empty nesters now, so
we got to get Dano to talk more.
What are you talking about? He was talking the whole time.
He always talks so much, you know. Looks like he had a hard day. He looks like he's sleeping.
No, looking down at my phone, I had it set up in front of the computer because that's what I would follow the chat with.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. Mine's ready set on my computer.
I was staring down. I was reading everybody's comments, trying to catch up.
Ah, okay. It looked like your eyes were closed to me for a second.
Yeah, you were sleeping, Dano. You were sleeping.
No,
if you're
not.
I'm sleeping. That's how you know I'm sleeping.
Everybody, appreciate you always joining us on Tuesday night. Let me see. Where am I? We're having Mike from Vendetta Prospecting from the state of Arizona with us next Tuesday night. Should be a really good show. He was actually one of our sponsors for this year's Flash Bash. So that should be a pretty good show, and I'm about guarantee you he'll have some gold porn for all you gold porn addicts out there. I know there's a few of you, and I'm one of them. So
first step's admitting it, Ed. First step's admitting it.
Yeah, but I never want to quit my gold porn. I want more. Avenger Gold, good to see you in our house. I hope all is well in the land down under. All our Australian friends, all our California friends, Canadian friends, and everywhere in between. Thanks again for being part of the Flash fam. Hope you join us next week. Until then, may you always have a flash in your pan.
You know what he's going to say next.
That's right, because it does happen, Rose. Huh.
It sure does.
And I hope it happens to all of you. Maybe one day, too, we'll meet you on the river, field, bridge. Never know. Good night, everybody. God bless. Till next time.
Night, folks.
See you, Can Do. Avenger Gold. Great seeing you, buddy. Luke Duke. Don't forget, Luke Duke Sleuth and Silver giveaway.
4, 3,
Not
2,
tomorrow, but the
1.
next day.
Thursday.
Thursday. 8 o'clock, I think.
Look at that.
Give
Kid.
me a
It does
radio.
happen. JP, it does happen. Yes, it does.
That it does. That it does.
Don't feel you're being stalked. We'll just say hi.